We can only be taught so much at school about our national hero, Jose Rizal. We can't really blame our history teacher as they need to squeeze in just enough time for our guy for you to finish your curriculum. Luckily, we compiled facts and trivia that you probably don't know, so we'll get to know more of him. So here are the crazy facts about Jose Rizal that your teacher probably never taught you. Let's begin. Let's start with Rizal's vital statistics. He was apparently 5 feet 2 inches tall, with a waistline ranging from 25 to 26 inches. He also had a huge head. His headwear measured 6.5 across, and 8 inches from front to back. His big shoulders and developed neck compensated for his strange appearance. Even at a young age, he was a fantastic sculptor. When he was only 14 years old, Rizal carved a 9-inch sculpture of the Sacred Heart out of Batikuling wood. When the Jesuit fathers visited Rizal in December 1896, they brought this figurine to Fort Santiago. Rizal produced 40 incredible masterpieces out of plaster, terracotta, wax, and clay in addition to wood sculptures. Jose Rizal experimented with drugs when he was young. You heard that right. In all fairness, Rizal never turned into a substance abuser. But that didn't stop him from attempting some, for the sake of science. Rizal once smoked hashish, purchased from a drugstore, while he was only 18 years old. At the time, the drug, a more potent psychedelic than marijuana, could be purchased over the counter, alongside cocaine, morphine, and heroin. It was not a Filipino artist that created the Rizal monument at Luneta. The design was created by Swiss sculptor Richard Kissling, who placed second in a 1907 art competition to select the best scale model for the future Rizal monument. The top prize was awarded to Carrara-based Italian sculptor Carlo Niccoli, while the contract to build the monument was awarded to the second-place winner. Kissling's design would use unpolished granite and bronze, which would be much less expensive than Niccoli's. Niccoli was apparently unable to put up the construction bond required to create the monument, according to Parks for a Nation. Others, however, complained that his design was too pricey because it employed Carrara marble. The anti-Chinese sentiment of Jose Rizal. Rizal would end up opposing what he considered to be Chinese exploitation of his compatriots, in addition to advocating against Spanish persecution. He saw the Chinese largely as dishonest traders, and businesspeople who enjoyed exploiting Filipinos for profit, even if it meant kowtowing to the Spanish. Rizal's dislike for the Chinese was evident in his letter to his mother, in which he complained about being involved in a lawsuit with the Chinese, and promised never to buy anything from him, and in his novel El Filibusterismo, in which he portrayed the character of Quiroga, who was reportedly based on a real Chinese businessman, as a shrewd and cunning individual. Many consider Rizal to be the father of Philippine comics because of several amusing illustrations he created in Germany. Rizal created The Baptism of Two Brothers to entertain the children of his landlord, Pastor Omer, and was inspired by the German cartoon, Max and Moritz. The original copy is now housed in the Philippines National Library. The Christmas Tree and Jose Rizal. According to historical documents, the Christmas tree custom began in the 16th century, with the Germans. It was later adopted in the United States, where it was initially met with opposition, as a pagan sign. Finally, Americans accepted the classic Christmas tree, popularizing it in the Philippines in the early 20th century. However, according to some historians, such as Professor Ambeth Ocampo, the idea of decorating a Christmas tree arrived in the country far earlier than that. In reality, Jose Rizal popularized it with his 1886 depiction of a Christmas tree, which was his version of Hans Christian Andersen's Little Fir Tree. Was Rizal a psychic? In a diary entry dated January 1, 1883, he described a terrifying nightmare he had 2 nights prior, which happened to be December 30th. Rizal was impersonating a dying actor in this dream, and he felt his breath was failing, and his vision grew very dim. Rizal would be executed 13 years later, on the very same date. Austin Coates, Rizal's biographer, also emphasized that numerous situations depicted in both Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo occurred to Rizal in real life. Rizal was working on a third, unfinished novel. This unfinished essay, known among historians as Makamisa, was begun by Rizal in Hong Kong in 1892. Makamisa was the title of a single chapter in Rizal's unfinished Tagalog novel, not the title of the entire work. Ambeth Ocampo, a historian, discovered the original manuscript in 1987, while sifting through a 245-page collection of materials. There is only one chapter in the novel. It is only 10 pages long, and is written entirely by hand, in the archaic orthographic auxiliary glyphs. It is a story about Padre Agaton, the town clergyman, who has a strange foul temper, which is explored in the novel. Later, Rizal resumed work on Macamisa in Spanish. However, the novel was never completed. Nilo S. Ocampo of the University of the Philippines Diliman College of Arts and Letters later translated the manuscript in Spanish to Filipino. The love triangle of Luna-Boustead-Rizal. This Filipino commander was already taunting death before he was brutally killed in Cabanatuan. Luna, being the sensitive guy that he was, challenged his perceived foes to a duel all in the name of honor. Surprisingly, Jose Rizal, who became Luna's friend and compatriot while they were both studying in Europe, was among those who found themselves on the receiving end of his notorious anger. How such camaraderie almost ended in a duel remains one of the most intriguing what-ifs in Philippine history, an incident that would have lost us one or two national heroes if it hadn't been for a chance twist of fate. The paranormal encounter of Jose Rizal. Even the Philippines' greatest hero, it appears, was not immune to strange hauntings. While in exile in Dapitan, Rizal wrote to a Jesuit priest about a poltergeist haunting one of his dwellings. The poltergeist was alleged to be targeting his significant other, Josephine Bracken, who also felt it was the ghost of her deceased father. The poltergeist broke numerous of their household things, according to Rizal. All her cups, tea kettles, saucers, and so on tumbled down at the same time when Josephine asked the spirit what it wanted. "All the boys and I witnessed it," he said. Lastly, the execution of Rizal resulted in the death of a Spanish prime minister. On August 8, 1897, an Italian anarchist named Michel Angin Gali shot Spanish Premier Antonio Canovas del Castillo at point-blank range outside a spa. Gali told police that he killed Canovas to avenge his fellow anarchists, who had been imprisoned and hanged at Barcelona's Montjuic Castle. He also dedicated his act to Don Jose Rizal's death and professed regret for failing to assassinate Camilo de Polavija, the Spanish governor-general under whom Rizal was executed. So, has your view about our national hero changed? Did you find them interesting? We'd love to see your comment below. Thanks for watching 8TVP. Until next time.